From that point on, he was my favorite nephew. It was like he had the spirit of a 65-year-old longshoreman trapped in the body of a second grader. I've had enough of the big, fat, hairy bullshit, Uncle Mark.
I trust someone who can drop an occasional F bomb way more than someone who says, "Well, butter my biscuits, that was inconvenient." I imagine these confused patrons putting it over their mantles. This is what the room needed. This piece really speaks to me. Oh, yeah. What's it saying? Mom, we ran out of Teddy Grams.
This is the Snaggletoon Extreme Metal Podcast.
Well, here we are. Almost 30 episodes into Decay. And the reviews we're going to do at the end of the show are all stuff that we missed this year. So this is like the last. We kind of ran through all the ones we hadn't reviewed, and we decided that we were going to spotlight 3 from earlier this year that we missed, that we slept on. So we have that to look forward to. Yep.
Seems like I do it every year.
Yep. Where were we on this one? But in the meantime, this piece is called
What the Fundraiser?
Yeah.
To a certain extent, exposure to profanity is like the weather in your household. Some are calm and breezy, others are dark and stormy. I heard so much by the time we were 8 or 9 years old, I didn't even realize it.
I was staying at a friend's house when I was young, and I mentioned that when my grandma called and my dad answered the phone, she would say, "Are you the only one allowed to answer the phone, you son of a bitch?" The mom was upset. She spoke up, "Mark, we don't talk like that around here." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, when my grandmother would call."
My uncle would always sneeze 3 times, and after the third one would pronounce, "Son of a bitch." I could never figure out if he was cursing himself or figured out the perfect phrase to ward off allergens. Medical science should have learned a lot from studying him, my opinion.
I guess from the teenage years forward, between dirty jokes and F-bomb for every occasion, profanity just became part of the air I breathed to a certain extent. Like other kids who were out there learning multiplication tables, I was over in the corner coming up with colorful endings to There Once Was a Girl from Nantucket.
Of course, the child rearing years are worth mentioning. If there ever was a time to censor yourself, it's when your kids are small. They're like little language sponges that only retain what you don't want them to. The thing is, no matter how well you think you hide it, somehow they figure it out. Even if they don't say it out loud, in their mind, it may be, that word that daddy says sometimes, putting together IKEA furniture, or when the ravens fumble.
Or as our son used to say, "Look, mommy, a firefuck." Please stop speaking. Of course, that being said, there is no greater feeling in the world when you're a parent and someone else's kid drops an F-bomb in public, especially if it's like in a calm and collected manner. I was at a Christmas party one time and I asked my 8-year-old nephew how he liked second grade. He just took a sip of milk and said, "My science teacher's a fucking moron." From that point on, he was my favorite nephew. It was like he had the spirit of a 65-year-old longshoreman trapped in the body of a second grader. I've had enough of the big, fat, hairy bullshit, Uncle Mark. I was like, "I hear you, son. Timeouts, early bedtime, little sisters. Here, I got a whole pack of gushers in my pocket, and if you don't tell your mom, I'll share them with you. They are loaded with red dye number 3, but you didn't hear that from me."
Returning to profanity. There are few things in the world I find more suspicious than people who refuse to swear in adult company. It's the verbal equivalent of someone smiling without using their mouth. A particular concern are those that make up their own alternatives to swearing. And I don't mean Jiminy Christmas or cheese and crackers, although both of them get me wondering what Jimmy Stewart movie they were watching.
Anywho, right on the same level of crazy, people coming up with their own take on, "Oh, cheddar snozzles." Personally, I can't relax or let my guard down in any way around someone who talks like the FCC editors from the I Love Lucy show are hanging on to our every word, hovering over our conversation with red pens and black censor boxes. Go sit on a sunbeam, Miss G. Willikers. Let's face it, when people say things like carrot sticks, Jimmy crack corn, or Tootsie Pie, What in the dill gherkins is going on around here? I think it's sort of a strange cry for help.
It's right next to quoting Bible passages. Another inventory? Well, I guess it's like Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Right you are, Bob. Excuse me while I back away into the supply closet.
Absolutely.
I trust someone who can drop an occasional F-bomb way more than someone who says, "Well, butter my biscuits, that was inconvenient." It tells me you're hiding some swirling tornado of fakeness.
So did you ever work with like one of these G Willikers people and they just erupt in F-bombs one day? It happened to me. There was this guy, IT dude in his 50s, the last guy that you think would be weird, but listen to this. One day, he just lost it. You could sort of tell it was language he wasn't used to using because he erupted into, "This place is just a big pail of fuck." And I was like, "Excuse me, is there a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza?" The entire accounting team began to whisper, "I'm sure he meant to say snickerdoodles."
Obviously, dropping an F-bomb was on this guy's bucket list. Sorry.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I want to talk about a feature interview.
Our feature interview this week is with Travis Lawson, vocalist for the Indiana-based melodic death metal band Carrion, Vael. We have a lively chat with Travis in his vehicle that covers everything from the meaning of the band's moniker to production tips to how they chose which serial killers to spotlight for lyrics on their exciting new album, Slay Utterly, which drops January 16th on Unique Leader Records. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, let's get it going. This song is 1978. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get one of those little holiday Hess model trucks full of Mark and Stace, which rides really bumpy since Brandon shoved one of the tires up his nose. Anyway, coming up in January, there's going to be a lot of really cool, exciting stuff coming on Patreon. Stace is going to show us how to use our Home Chef sponsored Ramsay burger.
Yeah, very exciting.
Not to mention my exhaustive review of Mike Campbell's autobiography, Heartbreaker, which is also in the works. So stay tuned for that.
And we also already have some awesome stuff up there, from fitness tips to cooking ideas to planting hanging baskets in sexy pants. So who would want to miss that?
That's right, exactly.
Plus, you're helping out here at our show. We do try to support the underground music we promote as much as we possibly can. So you're helping out them too.
And speaking of heartbreakers, I think it's time. Hit it!
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, Obnoxious Trivia educational version begins now.
This is loosely called, there was a documentary on it.
Okay.
Number one, in 1933, German-born radiology tech Georg Karl Tanzier treated Cuban-American tuberculosis patient Elena Helen Milagro de Hoyos. That's a mouthful. What unusual event later tied their names together in medical lore? A. He attempted an experimental cure by blasting her with X-ray radiation. B. He married her and they had 3 daughters before she passed. C. After her death, he stole her corpse and kept it in his bed for years. D. He preserved her lungs and displayed them at a national infectious disease conference.
All are quite weird, actually. I'm going to go with C. After her death, he stole her corpse and kept it in his bed for years.
You are correct. He went totally Ed Gein on her. He dug her up, kept her in her bed, danced with her. When her skin started to fall apart, he replaced it with silk. When her hair fell out, he just threw a wig on it. He even had some kind of vaginal tube up there so he could, Yeah. He actually
Was he didn't do anything weird before this? This was just his, well, I guess
he
not.
was
Not that we would know.
absolutely obsessed over this woman. He swore that she came to him in a vision beforehand.
Okay.
He was married prior to this, but
I'm going to skip the documentary on this one if you don't mind. So, okay, I got one right. Let's just end it now. I think that'd be the best way to handle this. Okay.
Number 2, Linda Riss became a household name in 1959 after goons hired by her ex-lover, lawyer Bert Pujak, attacked her with lye, blinding and disfiguring her. When Pujak was released from prison years later, what did she do? A. Sued him and used the settlement to open up one of the world's first women's shelters. B. Plastered his face on a revenge billboard with a cash bounty. C. Shot him in the balls in an elevator. Or D. Married him.
Hmm. Just running around with lie, just like, oh, I have a lie.
No, the guy hit her. The guy hit the woman. The guy
Hit
hired
her with lie.
The guy hired goons to attack her.
Okay. I'm gonna say D. She married him.
You're right.
Oh my gosh.
She married him.
That was so romantic when you attacked me with lie.
Well, she never believed it was him. When they were involved, she was actually married to someone else, and then they kind of split up, and she was dating someone else when she was attacked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, figures don't lie.
Even years later, when she got kind of sickly, he was caught having an affair, but she said it was her fault because she was so sickly for a while she couldn't have sex. So she even forgave him for that.
A weird bunch of weirdos. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, an unusually high number of residents in Vernon, Florida gained notoriety for doing what to collect insurance payouts? A. Sinking cars in swamps and reporting them stolen. B. Cutting off their own limbs for cash. C. Poisoning spouses with arsenic and almond extract. D. Keeping deceased nursing home residents in their beds to continue collecting disability checks.
There's a lot of death and rot in this one. I don't know. I'm gonna go with A, sinking cars in swamps.
They had a really high number of people cutting off their own limbs for cash. The guy who did this documentary dubbed the town Nubsville.
Oh my God.
And of course, the insurance caught on to it because, accidental dismemberment kind of sparks when it happens a lot. They found out, oh, you can cut off a leg, your house payments are taken care of.
And he had a nice new nickname, Torso Boy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's finish this one out. This is a weird one. Okay.
When Shannon Wisnot bought a used barbecue grill, he discovered a mummified human leg inside. He quickly branded himself the Footman and planned to turn it into a roadside attraction. Why were his big plans derailed? A. The original owner of the leg found out and demanded it back. B. The police department seized it as evidence. C. A local church declared the leg cursed and pressured him to bury it. D. A TV producer tricked him into signing away his rights to it on air.
I'm just gonna pick the most outrageous one. D. A TV producer tricked him into signing away his rights on it.
It's A. The original owner of the leg found out and demanded it back. Apparently,
Did this guy cut the leg off to get the insurance from the
that would
crier?
have been a better story, but he lost it in an accident and kept it in a grill in a storage unit, which he didn't keep up on the payments on. So when the man bought the grill, it came with the man's leg. So there was this big court battle about who actually owned the leg.
Wow. Okay, this has been Obnoxious Trivia of Life and Limb. Damn it, they repossessed the grill. Wait a minute, my leg was in there. Okay.
Leave going up there and being like, it's my leg, I want it back.
Good Lord. Oh, okay, anyway, so it's time for our Snaggletoon, and this is called
Wow, you were art. So I walk by this crappy art gallery every day. And look, I'm not an art critic, but at this point in my life, I think I can tell decent art from, well, this. I get the distinct impression that a majority of the artwork is supplied by the pre-K babysitter at the other end of the courtyard. They would have you believe this one guy whose entire career is drawing the same rabbit every single time.
And I swear it looks exactly like what a 4-year-old would draw with half an airhead hanging out of his mouth. You know the style, 2 ears, no detail, like sad pantyhose legs dangling off someone about to rob a liquor store while wearing the butt over the face, 2 dark smudges for eyes, a little V for the nose, and 2 swishes for the body that give up halfway down. No legs, no feet. I call it unfinished rabbit doodle number 437, and people are buying this shit.
Sometimes he changes the color scheme like he's trying to keep us guessing, but it's still the same swish swish face, swish swish, voila! I imagine these confused patrons putting it over their mantles. This is what the room needed. This piece really speaks to me. Oh yeah, what's it saying? Mom, we ran out of teddygrams.
Then there's another guy. Every single painting is a man in a suit, but here's the thing. Something is always over his eyes. Not a blindfold, not a cool mask, just a flying spoon, or a perfectly straight monkey tail. Could they make it any more obvious this guy cannot paint eyes? He just can't do it. Maybe try something less conspicuous, like, sunglasses? Or is that too obvious compared to the hovering toast or psychedelic snowflakes? The strategy seems obvious. Let's distract everyone with improbable objects hovering over his face. Genius or fear? I'm suspecting fear. It's his downfall, but he figured out an escape hatch. I must have a print of eyes obscured by chicken wings. His struggle is man's struggle. Where's my checkbook, Marge?
Then I'm reminded of that documentary. My kid could paint that. You know, the one about Marla Olmsted, the 4-year-old whose abstract paintings sold for thousands. Thousands! Meanwhile, adults are out here debating whether they can pay their heating bill, and she's finger painting her way to a college fund. And it made me wonder, shouldn't you have to prove that you can paint at least one real fruit bowl before you're allowed to go full abstract? Like, show me a credible mango before you demand $12,000 for Jabberwocky number 19. But no, the art world is like, do you see the echoes of Kandinsky in her work? No, Brenda, I see the echoes of I Miss Naptime.
And then came the whispers that maybe her dad was helping. Oh, good God, no. And honestly, I hope not, because imagine the shame of the interrogation. Under bright lights, sir, did you or did you not assist your toddler in creating this piece of art? I held the paint cup and I may have suggested some hues. Where is my attorney anyway?
But the weirdness doesn't stop. I saw this reel the other day of some artist hanging a bucket of paint from a rope and pulley system, and the bucket's just leaking colors everywhere while someone gives it a shove so it swings around like an unhinged chandelier. And the comments. Brilliant, visionary, a commentary on the chaos of modern life. Really? Because to me, it looks like a mashup of the kids' toy spin art and spirograph from Toys R Us, just with a bigger splash zone and a price tag that requires heavy financing.
At this point, I'm convinced the secret to being an abstract artist is simple. Have the confidence of a toddler with a crayon on mom's dining room wall and charge the equivalent of the gross national debt for it. Okay, I can't take any more. Let's play a song. This is Carrion Vael with 1912, the new single. Okay, let's talk about Hum Nutrition.
Hum Nutrition makes supplements that make your life better. If you're not sure what concerns you, go on and take their little quiz and they'll recommend products, or they have them all in categories for you.
I'm concerned that my leg is in a grill somewhere.
Man, how are we going to get that sucker back?
Exactly.
We seem to be concerned with our metabolism around here. So forget injecting yourself with the all Ozempic. There's GPL right here that you can just add into your smoothie, no needles required. And this will help boost your metabolism and crave those cravings. And it tastes good. It's kind of pineapple. We also have Skinny Bird. This one here helps boost your metabolism and also crave those nasty cravings to a minimum. So with these two together and maybe add in some apple cider gummies, you ought to lose 11 pounds by Christmas.
Agree. Jiminy Christmas. Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. So use our link. It will save you off your first order, and you too can discover things that are right for you.
Okay. It is time for Bombastic Plastic.
Bombastic.
This week, we're going to talk about Impaled Nazarene's album from 2003, All That You Fear. And you got to hand it to the black metal bands that are not from Norway, especially the OG ones that date all the way back to the second wave. Your Inquisitions, your Sacramentums, your Marduks, and your Necrophobics. Name drop one of these in a metal discussion, metalheads will react like you're bragging on your Xperia cell phone. Wait, you're talking on a what? That thing can't compete with the lossless zoom on my iPhone camera. Where's the 21:9 aspect ratio? Is that a headphone jack? What is this, 2003?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Yep.
One such too oft-forgot set of OG would be Finland's Impaled Nazarene. Perhaps best known for featuring the late Alex Lehio from the Children of Bottom on one of their records. The band has done nothing but crank out passionately evil black metal noise since forming way back in 1990. And they pulled no punches from the earliest days with releases like 1992's Goat Perversion, 1996's Motor Penis, and who could forget that classic album cover from the satanic Meso Horror Split, because nothing conjures inexplicable wickedness like four dudes in corpse paint with a baby carriage. The band stormed through the 90s, unleashing no less than 5 albums packed with Mika Lutinen's relentless screams, war metal with elements of death metal, and even some D-beat crust. The band found themselves juggling guitarists from their earliest days, but finally settled on lead six-stringer Tukomo Lohio, who found a way to breathe new life into this band alongside mainstay rhythm riffmaster Jarno Antilla. This early 2000s incarnation of the band would take them through one of their most exciting periods, and it all started with this unexpected little gem, All That You Fear, and released on the Osmos label in 2003.
I remember a friend online recommending this to me, and I couldn't have given a shit about black metal at that point, except for Enslaved. I was so engaged in all things Mastodon and High on Fire adjacent, I could have cared less about black metal. But I have to hand it to the dude. He said the right thing. He said, it's got some rock and roll in it. It's like they went back and listened to Venom or something. And that was just enough to pique my interest, and it remains my favorite Impaled Nazarene record to this day. The uninitiated can look to track 2 for evidence, Armageddon Death Squad, with its swirling harmonized guitars and jackhammer percussion, setting up what is no doubt the band's hookiest chorus to date. This track has it all: metal chutzpah, whiffs of D-beat anarchy, cool gang-style vocal layering, and hooky shredomatic leads from Lohio. Don't believe me? Let's hear a little bit of this unlikely gem. This is Armageddon Death Squad.
But oh no, the thrills and spills are not limited to one song. This thing is packed to the brim with bangers. Take Recreate Through Hate, for example, trading off cool harmony with a burbling bass lick from Mika and Kill to kick things off. There's an anthemic creator-informed style to this one. Drummer Rena Kolaski's flair for double bass and the punk-adjacent riffing makes this one instantly likable. And the lead Lohio whips out is shrill, jagged, and over before you know it. The Maggot Crusher is a vicious scream-along blastathon that slows to a crawl for the chorus. I am the maggot crusher, you shall fear my name. Amkill's bass line is stout and warm against Lou Hio's decidedly hooky lead in this one.
Suffer in Silence is another prime specimen supporting the evil rock and roll vibe of the album, cycling through an easy drinking mid-tempo riff, again very creator-ish in the lyrical style. You can almost imagine Millet delivering lines like, "You can make your choice, you have the right to choose, it's nobody's business what you decide to do." Very creator-ish, yeah. The track ends with a lyrical lead from Luhio and Lieutenant capping things off with, "I can list many assholes that should have died before you." Poetry alive and well in Finland in 2003, my friends. I should mention at this point that I recommend all three records from the Luhio period. This one, the 2005 live album, Death Comes in 26 carefully selected pieces, and the 2006 album, Pro Patria Finlandia. Thanks to Osmos's distribution, all three of these titles can be had relatively cheap, so get out there and scope them. Grab these, some Impaled Nazarene, and don't let anyone criticize your megapixel count or refresh rate. Let's play a clip. This is The Maggot Crusher. Okay, aren't you seeing me?
I was very interested to find out more about Carrion and Vael, another one that has slipped through our radar until now. Gosh, as soon as I realized all the songs are about serial killers and the past one's about cult leaders, I knew we'd have a lot to talk about.
Don't drive by this one. Get it? Take it away.
All right, so really, really digging this album since we got the sneak preview and all.
Right.
I have to, when I have to take it to work with me, I have to listen to it on MP3 player like it's 1992, you know? So just
Yeah.
drag the file over, but it's just amazing with all the layers and things that you put into it. The more you listen to it, the more you hear. But help me out with the name a little bit. Like Carrion is kind of like dead critters, right? And Vael, I wasn't sure if you were talking about like a burial shroud or that low place between hills, or did somebody just figure out that would look really, really good on a t-shirt, or how did the two words actually come together?
Well, carrion means rotting flesh. Yeah, so you got that carcass, maybe. I don't know. Vael, I believe Vael means small village. It's an old English thing, but like it sounds like Vail.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know, it just has like a couple of double meanings, but I honestly didn't come up with the name, so I can't really say much. But I have to give credit to the name. Our original, because I'm the original guitar player, in all honesty. Not even now I just do vocals, but a guy named Chris York was the original vocalist, who's still one of my good buddies, but he came up with the name. So love that dude. That dude's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I like the way it's kind of like dead, rotting meat. And Veil could be like that thing where, like at Halloween, it's supposed to get real thin so spirits can pass through. So it's kind of definitely got that connotation.
Hell yeah,
That's
dude.
cool. Yeah.
It's open to whatever interpretation you want it to be.
Okay.
So you guys also seem to have a bit of dark humor running it, going all the way back to Cannibals Anonymous to Slay
Yeah.
Utterly, which is kind of a little tongue in cheek. Who is the darkest sense of humor in the band?
Well, I do all that stuff, so I mean, I don't know, like, but I would say me. But all the guys we're all just real similar. We're all Indiana boys, like, and that's the thing about Indiana people is like, we don't know no better.
Yeah, it
But
definitely comes through. Yeah.
so I'll give you like Cannibals Anonymous. So Jeffrey Dahmer, when he would hold when he after he got arrested, he put a sign outside of his prison cell and said he was holding Cannibals Anonymous meetings.
Oh my God.
I didn't
So
know
that's
this.
what
Wow.
that's
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
that's what that's from. And since Cannibals Anonymous is generally speaking all cannibals, or at least some songs about people who have tried to maybe eat somebody, like that's what that album is about. So I just thought that was just kind of funny and clever, and
Yeah.
also I thought it sounded cool. Slay Utterly is from, what's that, from Ezekiel chapter 9:6 or something. I don't know. I'm not a very religious person, but I've read enough to know that it says slay them utterly or something like that, and I just thought that was hella metal. But also the song that just dropped tonight at 7 p.m. the same time I called you. Actually, it was the reason why I called in like 3 minutes late, was
Hmm.
because 1912, which is about the Villisca axe murders, dropped at 7 p.m. tonight. And the if you read up on that, um, there was a preacher that was I think he was even arrested, but never charged. But he was preaching, and that's one of the things he said, to slay them utterly. But that's from the Bible.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds very
So
Old Testament. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, love the artwork too. This is definitely your bloodiest album cover to date. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like classical painting meets some kind of Roman gladiators. Was that something
Uh,
that you dug up or something you commissioned?
well, it's very Caravaggio related. I like Caravaggio, and I like his color palette. And so Justin Abraham has done every album cover going back to God Killer. So God Killer, Abhorrent Obsessions, Cannibals Anonymous, and Slay Utterly. He's done all of them, and me and him work together really well. I love Justin's awesome dude. Um, and I just said, hey, I want this color palette more than anything, and here's the idea, because it's all axe murderers, or adjacent,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
and then after that I just give him free reign, because he nobody tells me how to write lyrics, and I'm certainly not going to tell the art guy how to draw. I'm not good at
Yeah.
drawing, so
Yeah.
but
I understand.
yeah. But Justin, any band's looking for a good artist, man, that's the guy, and nobody easier to work with, and just a good guy.
Did he have to kill all super in shape guys though? He couldn't have slain a bunch of fat guys, right?
Yeah, I had to go all the way down to North Carolina to pose for all that. Um,
Yeah,
no,
that's the
I
old
did
school metal.
not.
Everybody was very muscly in the old days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Of
naturally,
course.
we're peak physical conditioning.
Of course.
Us metal guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So what goes on in Richmond, Indiana? Like what's the thing to do? What's
Hmm.
the town famous for?
Well, I just left my good friends at Victor's Mexican restaurant, where I was getting prepared for to do this. I had two margaritas, so and huevos con chorizo, and that goes on. Uh, um, uh, not a whole lot else. Richmond only has about 40,000 people. There's not a whole lot going on here,
Gotcha.
but it does have a rich musical history, which I feel like I tell everybody this. But like first place in America to record a black artist, right here, Richmond, Indiana, Gannett Records. Everything from Louis Armstrong. They recorded all that jazz back then here, um, and a lot of musicians are from here that people don't realize, even though it's only 40,000 ish people.
Right.
Um, but as far as like, what do you do you don't do a lot. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
It ain't
Not a
no
lot
golf.
of, yeah, there's always stuff going on here. In fact, we're always discovering like new little venues on occasion that like, you know, we'll be like, well, it's like it gets to be too many to keep track of when you're trying to figure out who's where.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's some good bands from Baltimore. Who do we you know some good buddies of ours are from there that are great musicians. We did a tour there, or we came through.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, that wasn't the good place, but but this it had a, strong stench of pee, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That
did get
sounds
some
right.
great food. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't so
Yeah.
bad though. I We ate some good food though. I tell you, you guys get that on lockdown.
Yeah, there's a lot of good eateries.
Yeah, yeah, it's not so bad. Pretty nice
It's
there.
funny. I've heard like some Steve Austin from Today Is the Day said he was doing a show and they were outside the venue and there was this guy just coming through with a bat, just taking out everybody's
Ooh,
side mirrors on the street, and nobody was stopping him. It was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. Sounds
Yeah.
badass, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, because you guys, I mean, you've got quite a few full lengths under your belt at this point.
Yeah.
Who do people compare you guys to, and how do you feel about the comparisons?
Oh, like um we're going to always get the Black Dahlia thing. Probably, I guess, just because we are melodic, but I do the highs and the lows, so I probably get that comparison. Um, who else? I think we jump around a lot. Like, yeah, there's some tech death there, there's some melodic, and then there's some slammy parts, which is on purpose. Like when we're writing this stuff, I always say, I I always say I want to call them wow parts, like where they're like, they're entertaining, if that makes sense. Like sections, and so we get those comparisons to people. If I do fast vocals, everyone's going to say Archspire, which is cool. Those guys are sick. Uh, Black Dahlia, those guys are sick. Cool. Compare us to that. I don't mind. Um, we've gotten them all, but we got good buddies who are similar as well. Those the boys in Lich, summoning the Lich. I know they get the same Black Dahlia comparisons, and sometimes, and I'm cool with it. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't bother me as long as if you like the music, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there's a lot worse you could get than that. Definitely. Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I haven't gotten too many like super bad comparisons. I don't even know who would be super bad that I'd be ashamed to be compared to. I don't.
Well, I mean, you guys have got the two guitar thing, and I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
the harmonies and everything. It's you're going to be compared to somebody who's tight as fuck. It's going to have to be.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, all right. Yeah, we'll take that.
yeah, you're going to have to be.
Super
Yeah.
tight. Yeah, super tight band. Cool. You want to compare
Yeah.
us to that? That sounds good to me.
So Matt's kind of the newest person, for I guess he was on the last two albums. He's just an absolute beast behind the kit. You can tell
Yeah.
when you were figuring out, a new drummer, did you have to have like tryouts to see if they could make it that long? Because that's quite a workout.
Well, Matt, who is an awesome dude, first and foremost, like it doesn't like I'm I'm lucky that I get to play with such uh you know like good people, like besides their musicianship, but like they're just good dudes. But like Matt was the drummer in a band we went on tour with, um and we had a fill-in drummer at that time, and then throughout that tour he was like, oh, you guys are looking for somebody, and we were like, yeah, and then he secured a tryout because his other band he was playing with, it was based out of Seattle, and Matt is from Akron-ish area, Akron, Ohio. Let's just say he's from Akron, uh, which is only about 3 hours away from us. So
Yeah.
it made sense for him to potentially want to play with us. And also, I think he liked the music, which is nice. Um, but yeah, uh, Matt showed up to the first tryout and he knew the entire set list already. He just
Wow.
knew it. So basically, the first practice, it was like he was our drummer. But we've been blessed Kevin Paredes did the Cannibals Anonymous for us. That dude obviously is amazing. Um, and then Chris, our old drummer, great, but just he was, started a family and, metal. You're not making money doing this, so
Yeah.
people are going to come and go because they want to do different things with their lives. So it's cool with me. Uh, miss all the dudes we've ever played with, but like if you've got things you want to do with your life, like it's not always conducive to be on the road for 15 days a couple times a year. Like it's hard
Yeah.
business when you're not making money.
Yeah.
But no, as far as Matt goes, he showed up, killed it, and it's just been super solid ever since.
So for the recording of this album, what track like immediately fell into place quickest and which one gave you the most trouble? And did you have to leave any serial killers on the cutting room floor?
Well, there's always serial killers on the cutting room floor. One thing that people don't know is I think we've got 1 or 2 albums already done other than these. So there's other serial killers we haven't even talked about yet.
That's
And there's
great.
also there's funny stories about, like, sometimes I'll start writing about a certain aspect, like, because I just like history and things like that. And I don't want to jump too far into this, but like sometimes you'll start like I was writing about occultism, and the American government ties to occultism, Benjamin Franklin, things like that. And I was writing about that, but then I was also writing about uh, occultism tied to, like, the Nazi Party and things like that. And you just cannot write cool lyrics about that. So like, like it's impossible. Like, so like all that stuff's all like that's all on the cutting room floor, obviously. But but um, on this particular album, I would say uh, um, the 5th song on the album, which uh, didn't. The only reason why it even made it on the album is because Jack, uh, uh, the guy, he's the guitar player for War of Ages, but he also owns the studio that we record at. Jack and Elijah, they were just like, we sent them the song and they were just like, yeah, this song's sick. Why isn't it going to make it? And I was like, well, I haven't even written lyrics or anything for it. And then it ends up being one of the sickest songs on the album. It's 40. I can't even remember my own song names. Um, it's weird because you go into the studio and you record all this stuff, and then like 6 months later it comes out, and so you don't think about you're working on new stuff in that time period. Does that make sense? And
Right.
so
Right.
I don't even think about
Yeah.
these song names. But 40, what is it? 40 Wax Upon the Parlor or something like that.
Right. Right. The axe murder one. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Lizzie
Yeah.
Borden song.
Yeah.
That's she hit somebody with an axe 40 times in her parlor. So that song almost didn't make it, and it's one of the cooler songs. It's super fast. Did you guys listen to that one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is, like, we watch a lot of ID channel stuff, and we watch a lot of like serial killer adjacent stuff. And if you were
Really?
a serial
Nice.
killer before like 1970, you could just really
Hmm.
get away with doing whatever you wanted. I mean, because the cops
Yeah.
back then were like, well, he was after the insurance money. Let's find a way to prove it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he wore a
Yeah.
head as a hat for 2 weeks. I don't see how that's
Yeah.
relevant. Like they just didn't have a
Specifically,
clue. And to
yeah,
me,
and
watching
that's a
that and
super
how
interesting.
clueless they were, that's really interesting. So yeah.
You're spot on. Like, Abhorrent Obsessions was kind of like turn of the century related serial killers. Peter Curtin, for instance, like, and basically that guy was begging to be caught, but
Right.
like nobody's. If you know anything about Peter Curtin, like he used to use a super slender knife. It was like super long and like slender, and the reason why was because the sound of gushing blood would make that guy instantly goosh.
Wow.
Like
Yeah,
in
exactly.
his
Wow.
in his leader hosens because he was from Germany. But I thought that was like that's just super interesting to me. But like nobody, they would be like, oh, we didn't see him do it. But now obviously you've got like all of the forensics and things like that. So
Yeah.
I still think that they're and most people that are in the business, I think, would probably agree. There's probably thousands of serial killers in the United States alone, which is means I'll never run out of songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, let's not put them on a pedestal, but uh,
Right, right.
I don't worship these guys. That's something I like to make sure everybody knows. I don't worship that. Like, I just find true crime interesting. I find the psychology behind it interesting. The
Yeah.
disturbing stories are interesting, but I do not condone what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating to think about, where their mind goes. I loved that 19 fucking 78. You know,
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
back, when the Hillside Strangler and the Golden State Killer were, I couldn't decide who was worse. The two guys who were using fake badges to trick people into, getting them into a car or a room to kill them, or the Golden State Killer who would rape people and then put plates on them to be like, I'll hear you if you move, and then go make a snack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, making snacks just seemed to be like something they like to do in between murdering them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I think BTK made a snack or ate a bowl of cereal. Made a joke about it being a serial killer. Uh, but like, yeah, they're weird. They're strange. They're disturbed.
Yeah.
But
Fascinating. Fascinating. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I love how all your songs are like an onion or like a parfait. You've got this harmonies, these percussive rants, and then there's that kind of unexpected, kind of floating through. Um,
yeah.
so it kind of almost sounds like a monk or something like religious, kind of overtop all this dark stuff. What do you use to produce all that kind of that ethereal ah?
Well, a lot of that is I sing. A lot of it, like we actually sing it. Um, that depends on which song. Like, are you specifically speaking of 1978?
Yeah, there's a lot of like almost orchestral sounding
Yeah.
vocals in that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's a vocal, it's sang. Uh, and then I don't know what the orchestra stuff. Obviously, we're not hiring an orchestra, but I think that it's I don't know what program this we use a program, and I still don't know what that program is. And then when we send that to the studio, they run it through like probably I'm assuming much better programs when it comes to like the violins and all that stuff. But if it's vocals, if you're hearing singing, it's me for the most part, unless you can clearly tell it's a female vocal. Uh,
Yeah.
but like in like 1978, there's no, it's all me singing. Um,
Yeah.
Even
So you do a
on
lot of layering. There's a lot of layered
there's a
vocals for
ton.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a ton of it, and then um, there's a ton of it. Like there's a song called "Lord of 74." I don't know if you know that one. I
Mhm.
specifically wrote that one to sound like a show tune. Like I wanted that, but that's all actual recorded vocals.
Okay.
Even in the chorus sections,
Yeah, for
you
that
know.
one, I love the piano plink 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 before everything kind of
Uh-huh.
kicks in. It
Yeah.
almost seems like you said, like a game show or
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I want we went for creepy on that one. And that's all Ryan Cooter, All
Okay.
right, boy. Ryan
yeah, that
Cooter
was
Mellencamp.
it kind of sets up that because I mean Calendar's creepy enough telling you. I mean, it's crazy to me like the son
Okay,
of
well
Sam.
you're from Baltimore, so Joseph Callinger is from Philadelphia. You
Yeah,
actually know who
Yeah.
that is?
Oh
You
yeah.
okay,
yeah,
that's yeah. Big time schizophrenic. Yeah. Like
yeah. A
guy had some
disembodied
issues.
head is giving him orders. That's worse than a dog.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. And he recruited his own kids to do the murdering,
Yeah.
which is interesting, the old
Yeah.
cobbler.
Yeah.
Well, P. Diddy, I was watching that documentary. He taught his sons in it, so I guess he figured he'd bring him into the fold.
Yeah, true. I haven't watched that yet. I just don't know if I want to. That's
I did,
I don't know.
I didn't make it through the whole thing. I was like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
watch the Ed Gein yet?
So Cannibals Anonymous has an Ed Gein song on it called "A Goose Is Dead," Augusta being his mother. Um, and I started to watch it, but it was a little too exaggerated.
That's what everybody says.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably still watch it. I'll probably finish it, but you
If you're going
know,
for like historical accuracy, it's not really the best. It's more of a just let it take you on a ride, And it gets into
yeah,
Psycho and it gets into Texas Chainsaw and
Little,
there's a lot of
yeah.
asides.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people really fucking hate it, but we were entertained by it. So.
The I have a Ed Gein comic book that's pretty good, but it's a comic book, but I believe it's written by Harold Schechter, who writes really good true crime novels. Uh, let's see, it's called like "Look What Eddie Gein Done." I think that's a really good comic book
Yeah.
about Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like you were talking about 1912. I really liked how orchestral that came through before everything comes like crashing down on that one. We actually read a
Oh yeah.
book called The Man on the Train, which is all about the supposed guy who was just getting off the
Mm,
train, and he would a lot
yeah,
of times, get the axe that was just laying around, because I guess back then everybody had an axe laying
yeah.
around, and
It would
use
make a lot of
that.
sense. Yeah, yeah. I believe that was written by the maybe it was like a police officer or
Yes.
somebody who like I didn't read that book, but I learned about that book, and that's probably who like because that's unsolved as far as I know,
Right.
and that's probably who actually did it. But 1912 specifically, I visit that aspect, but then the preacher aspect, and then in the choruses is all about the aspect of like business gone bad. I talk about the sins of your father because some people say that a business partner dealership went bad when the I believe his name was John Moore or something like that um, stole the John Deere account, which is funny, but like um, that's a big account for some farmers,
Yeah. Yeah.
so a lot of people say that that's so there's all these different angles on that. So in that song in particular, and I do this in a lot of songs where I'll visit every possibility plus the victim's um, perspective, like 1978. The singing part is supposed to be the victims talking, and so there, like you said, there are onions to these
Yeah.
songs. You know, just trying to get deep, real deep.
It's a blooming onion with ranch dip, if you ask
Oh
me.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
sounds delicious. I'll have one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I also love by Section 47. It just detonates
Mm,
all that rage of the Black Dahlia murder, like right there. They had a good kind of biopic on that on American Horror Story, the one season they kind of did that story.
really? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's another one. That's another one I haven't seen, but I would like to. I I was because we get so like you to harken back to the question you asked, like because we get so many Black Dahlia murder comparisons. I have been holding off writing a song about that, but it just made too much sense on this album of axe murderers and somebody being cut in half, or bisection. And so, you know, I did write it, and hopefully that goes over well. But that we get a lot of comparisons to Black Dahlia murder, so to write a
Yeah.
song about the Black Dahlia murder is you know, hopefully it goes over well.
Yeah, it was good with that little kind of creepy whisper interlude. Were you actually saying something, or was it just like a whisper? It was hard to tell.
Jesus, I don't even know. I haven't heard the song in a couple months. Uh, um, that is unfortunately one of the songs we won't probably be playing live. Um, so I haven't visited the song in a long time. I need to do that. But I'm saying something. Yes, I'm always saying something. I can answer that question because I know I'm saying something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, it's all of them are really powerful, and I like the way like your interludes are short. I
Yeah.
like Nile, but sometimes I feel their interludes are too long, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
let's get back into it.
Yeah.
I like the short drips of quiet and then come right back.
It's a good point.
I
Yeah, I hadn't thought
prefer
about
that.
that. That's true. You guys have a sense of urgency throughout the whole album. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're getting better at writing. Every album,
Yeah.
I hope. That's the point, right? You just get better, hopefully. And, you know, um, yeah. Hopefully we did a good album. I hope everybody likes it. You never know as an artist, but I think that this is our best album.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
great.
other people agree.
There are sometimes it sounds like women's vocals. Did someone provide that, or was it like computer generated? I'm afraid to ask this question. I'll tell you why later.
Which song?
I believe it was by Section 47. It sounds like there's a woman in there at times.
I think if it sounds like it's a woman, it's probably on a lot of these programs. You can program like choirs and things.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a good chance there's a choir being actually generated.
It's like sampled.
But I
Yeah.
sure can sing high though. You never can tell.
So when you're kind of deciding, because it seems like you kind of have, there's different vocal styles. One is kind of like a scratchy wizard, and the other is kind of a demonic growl. Is it easy for you to just go back and forth between the two, or is it something you really have to think about?
Um, it's I'm pretty good at going back and forth. I do all that live, back and forth. I think I'm pretty good at that. But like I sometimes you'll go into the studio and you may write something that's super hard to pull off live. But that's what the guys in the band doing some backup vocals are help with. But you just choose what sounds best, and then you force yourself to learn it. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But you said some songs wouldn't translate live. Is that ones where you had to use a lot of, backing tracks, or is it just doesn't translate?
When I said it doesn't translate live, I was probably referring to uh, the vocal styles. Is that what I was
Ah,
talking about?
Yeah.
yeah.
And like just like the ability, like so, that's I'm just referring to like jumping back and forth and doing a bunch of layers. But what we do live is the same thing as most other bands do. Like we just if I don't have somebody that can do that backing part, then it will be in the backing tracks, which is all that orchestra stuff. And you know, in 1978, I can't do singing parts while I'm screaming. So, and nobody else in the band can really sing. So, um, I do. Some of the just that the held out notes and stuff will be in the backing tracks. It's just you're just trying to do the song the way it's supposed to be done, like how you recorded it. So you try your best, but sometimes it's just you got to use some backing tracks.
Yeah, I imagine, especially with all that in there to try to get everything together. Is that hard to get timed right, or does it just kind of come off well?
It just it just comes together, I guess. Or so the only thing that I hear it really in my in ears live is just that metronome just blasting me with beeps, like, um,
Yeah.
and so basically when I'm singing, I'm just singing to beeps, and the guitar players are really just playing to beeps, and those metronomes just bring us all together. Um, so, I guess pulling it off live is just being able to play to a metronome.
Yeah.
Which is the same way with a lot of modern metal. You just kind of have to have that. I guess you don't have to have it, but it helps.
So I wanted to ask you, when you went in to re-record a Black Chariot,
Mhm.
what changes did you feel like you had to make to bring it into kind of the modern era? And were there other like older tracks that you considered possibly, bringing back besides that one?
So we re-recorded the Godkiller album completely, or
Okay.
we re-recorded the Resurrection of the Dune album completely, um, because back then that's the only album. No, we recorded Godkiller in Drop A as well. So Resurrection and Godkiller were both in Drop A, and so we re-recorded Resurrection completely in B standard, and just never released it. It's sitting in our Dropbox, just to see how it sounded. And the reason why we re-recorded Black Chariot is because it was probably our most popular old song that was in Drop A. So we re-recorded it in B standard, and then we added orchestra because we weren't doing orchestra until Abhorrent Obsessions. Um, and I thought the old version sounded good, but we just really wanted to be able to play it live every once in a while. I still don't know if we ever will, but like now we have that option because it's the standard tuning that we play in without having to
Okay, that makes
retune a
sense.
guitar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stopping halfway through like a NASCAR pit crew and changing everything.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's this band.
yeah.
There's this band called from Las Vegas called Sonolith, and we saw them. They did that. They actually like did half their set in one tuning, and then dropped in a new two guitar and bass, and did the second half in a completely different tuning. It was wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sick. And I think if like if you're big enough where you've got like a stage crew like taking like that hand you off a guitar or whatnot, I just like to I like to blast through a set, even live. Like I produce these orchestrated parts in between each song, so the entire set is kind of like you know um, rocking and rolling. So like we don't have time to really change. The
Yeah, that
most
makes
time I
sense. Yeah.
the most time I give us between a song, I think it's 15 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah, that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Sense of urgency. That's what I said. Yeah.
it's crazy to me that that Black Dahlia case was never solved because you know that wasn't the guy's first rodeo. You don't start out by cutting somebody in half and
yeah,
leaving them
yeah.
in a field. But
Doesn't seem like a first time move, but
I think you start with cutting somebody's hair or something, calmer.
Right.
Um, but do you think now it's like they finally caught the Golden State Killer because now people are doing DNA testing, which I was like, Mom, you did that. I can't ever be a serial killer now. God damn. But
yeah, I think that I think modern technology has changed that aspect of it, and that's great. That's good. We want that. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that's. I still think there are serial killers who probably are out just driving highways and like killing super random people, and then driving 500 miles home, and they're still getting away with it. Like you know, um, I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but um,
Right, right. No, I know. I know. Like
you know,
we'll be watching ID channel and we'll see them make the big mistake. Oh, he used a credit card. What are you doing? You know what I mean? And we
yeah,
just collective disappointment. You're like, come on. We
yeah.
were with you until then, So
Well, these people are mentally ill, so
yes,
they're bound to make a mistake, or
yeah.
I mean, or they're never going to make a mistake. You know how
Yeah,
some of
yeah. Yeah.
these perfectionists can be. So
Exactly. Yeah.
now everything's a camera. Everybody's got a doorbell cam
Yeah.
or,
yeah,
Makes it even trickier. Yeah.
yeah,
there's one
yeah.
show called See No Evil that's entirely cases solved by surveillance cameras. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Really,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's
I
shocking that the Walmart cameras are really, really good. Like it seems like the Walmart ones are always the go-tos for them. Like, and it's like they build it up where they'll go, they'll show you cameras that's in an alley right where the murder happened, and they'll be like, "Will we be able to use this?" And they go to commercial when they come back. They're like, "No, it was dog shit. We couldn't see anything." And then the case goes on. So it's all about the quality of the video.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like Jack the Ripper would have been solved after the first case because he killed somebody in an alley, and everybody's got a camera above their
That's
dorm. And
right. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Times
know, he would
change.
have been he would have been caught.
Yeah.
So but, luckily for me, I guess there's plenty of material to write about. So
Well, and you've also dipped into like cults with Wings of Deliverance, so about James
Mhm.
Jones. Do you think you'd ever go back? Because I mean, they're technically kind of mass murderers. Most of those cult leaders too end up.
so
Maybe
Jim
skip
Jim Jones is
Jim
Jim
Jones.
Jones is from Richmond, Indiana.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know that's he went to Richmond High School. He started his first church here. Um, he sold monkeys door to door for money. That's what he was doing. And then a lot of people don't know this, but like when he Wings of Deliverance was the name of his first church. His When he started the People's Temple, which is
Yeah.
the cult, um, it was because he bought a Jewish temple, and the word temple was carved into the building.
Oh wow.
So People's represents the socialistic aspect of the church he was doing, and then temple because it was carved to the building. But I have written more songs about cults. Well, I've got a song about the Ant Hill Kids, which is on Cannibals Anonymous. Rock Thero, I don't know, I'm probably not saying his name right, but Theralta, the the cult leader from Montreal, um, leader of the Ant Hill Kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've got more songs about cult leaders, but yeah, I would definitely do more cult leaders if as long as they fit whatever bill I'm trying to write the next album about, you know. And
Yeah.
I want to go back to like I want to do another like an album that's all about one person, kind of like I did with God Killer, and that album being about Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard in a way, um, and then you know, so kind of want to do some more like that, but I guess we'll see what pops up. I don't know, but I think cults are extra fascinating, if I'm being honest.
No, it's amazing the stuff that people will just buy just to get, love or acceptance or
Yeah,
they're all
A
in
seat
and
on the spaceship.
yeah,
I only
yeah,
got 100 more sweaters I got to knit. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the whole like, I mean, the Waco, like, it was David Koresh, like reading into that, like, and I know there's some good movies about that, like, just like these dudes are just like, oh yeah, just have my wife. It's just like crazy. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, what are you guys
Yeah.
on? Like,
And we've watched so much of that stuff. And the thing is, a lot of times they make the guy that's the head guy like super old. So then when he dies, everyone's shocked and they have to like have like all these meetings behind the scenes and be like, oh, now what do we do? Like they cannot.
the profit.
They should make the 35-year-old the Messiah because then you have years for it. It's always some old fossil, and then when he dies, they have to scramble. Or it seems that way
yeah,
anyway.
it's
Church of
almost like
Latter-day Saints was like that. So
yeah, these cult people ain't got no sense.
they don't. Yeah, they got to think it through. I mean, you got to go for
Yeah.
tax exemption. You got to work these things
Yeah.
out. I mean,
Hey man. Well, that's an L. Ron Hubbard thing. He said if you ever wanted to
yeah.
get
Well,
rich,
he
you
just
just
had a
start a
really
church.
bad. He was really bad from a nautical standpoint.
And
So,
he got
Yeah.
tossed out of the Navy
yeah.
because he was firing on what he thought was a submarine for 2 days. It was nothing. It was a piece of wood.
Yeah. Good old
Sounds about right.
Elron. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Quite the
Very
pirate.
cool. All right, so we play a game on the show. I think you'll like it. It's called
Okay.
It's called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay, and the way it works, I think an extreme metal fan like yourself will be very interested in this. So
Okay.
I have five band names in front of me. One of them is made up. So of
Okay.
these five bands, I want you to try to guess which one is not a real band. Okay.
Okay. I'm in.
Okay. Okay. Worm Rider, Worm Subterra, Wormgasm, Worm Shepherd, and Worm Guard.
Oh, Worm Shepherd's on Unique Leader. That's our label, so I know that's Wormgasm is
Okay.
too good not to be a real name. What are the others? Like, what are the other three?
Worm Guard,
Worm.
Wormgasm, Worm Subterra, and Worm Rider.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Worm Rider.
No, they're doomed from Philly. They have 3 EPs, but
Ah,
they are real. Yeah. So that
some bitch.
leaves Subterra, Wormgasm, and Worm Guard.
Well, I think Wormgasm has got to be a band because that's a sick name. Uh, um, uh, uh, what was the Worm Subterra?
Worm Guard, Worm Subterra. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Worm Subterra is not a band.
No, they're real. They're Thrash from Estonia. They have
Jesus
two. I
Christ!
don't even know where that is. If you pointed me at a map, I wouldn't be able to point it out, but that's where they're from. They have two full
It's in there
lengths.
somewhere. It's in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
No,
The
Wormgasm I made up. That's the fake one actually.
Oh, well, that's the sick name. You
But
should
see,
start a
like all
band.
of our all of our minions can have that now if they want it. So,
They should want that. Wormgasm. Yeah, that's a good one. That was actually my favorite name of the whole group of
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
worms.
I should open a side business because every time we do this game, it seems like someone says, "God, I love that name. I want that on the patch." So,
Yeah, you do.
yeah. So.
Oh, do we have
That's
more
cool
games? What else
I had no idea that Worm Shepherd was a band on a label you would know. That was actually very good. Yeah, it made me a little nervous there for a second. Yeah. So.
Well, Worm Shepherd. Yeah, Worm Shepherd is on Unique Leader. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're
from Massachusetts
God,
Deathcore, it says. So
yeah. They're pretty big actually, and they're well known and pretty good.
that's cool. That's
You know,
cool.
What's your
uh,
experience been like with Unique Leader? Good?
the, you know when you deal with like people, Jamie, always I feel like Jamie is a nice dude. He's the owner. And they just when you deal with good, nice folks, like it makes even bad experiences better. So like
Yeah.
we've had a good time. Um, there's Scott Rudd, the art guy who makes the videos, playthrough videos. I think there's some other art stuff for him. Scott is the reason why we're signed to Unique Leader. I asked Scott if he would make a lyric video for us, and it was Four Wings of Deliverance. And I sent him the song and the artwork, and he messaged me back, and he was like, "Do you care if I pass this along to Jamie?" And then they signed us a couple days later. So that's how it
Oh,
was, super
cool.
fast like that.
Mhm.
And they didn't they they had no intentions of releasing another band, but they liked the song and liked what we brought to the table. So then they kind of rushed the first album out. I did not rush necessarily, but like they got it out when they didn't intend to. So I know it was a lot of work for them. But good people over there. A lot of really good bands. We are a little bit of the outlier band, being like more of like a tech death melodic metal band on kind of a deathcore label or slam.
Right.
But those guys they've never really told me no, or even like I got a lot of dicks on a lot of album covers, man, and they and which I just think is funny. But they've never even blinked an eye at some of the crazy stuff I've sent them, and so I
That's
got to
cool.
appreciate that. And
Yeah.
Maddie over there and Chris, the merch guy, like all those dudes, they get nothing but love from me.
Yeah, it seemed like you were having a little bit of trouble with Meta, like taking down your content, which is dumb if it's an album cover.
Yeah, I'm not. I kind of expect that. I kind of even obviously. They
We even had trouble. We did a thing on an old Helicopters single album, and the single it kind of has it's drawn, but it's a topless woman, and that got slammed. And then finally, after a year, YouTube took down the thumbnail. We were like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah.
sounds about right. I know that they're gonna hit this album, the Slay Utterly album cover. Do you guys? I see it behind you guys. Is it the edited version?
No,
That's
No, it shouldn't be. Yeah, this is right off Metal Archives, so
yeah. I can't see it. I can't tell if there's a giant dong on there or if it's cut off.
oh, okay.
yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
It's on there. All
Yeah, it's
right,
on
cool.
there. Yeah.
There is an edited version. Quite the
A
edit.
neutered version.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's yeah,
exactly.
literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So in January, you guys have the Extreme Metal Mayhem. It looks really stacked. I'm sure you guys will unleash absolute chaos at that. Have
This
what
Detroit
other?
show.
Oh yeah, it
That's the
looks really.
Detroit. So yeah, we're doing that little run. Yeah, it's only just a 4 day. It's around the 16th through the 20th, where we hit up Richmond, Indiana, which is our hometown. We always play at E Street Pub. Like E Street's awesome. Ashley, the owner, awesome person. Like she she covers the cost of all these shows and allows us to make every show $5. No matter who
Wow.
I bring in,
Oh,
it's
that's
five
nice.
bucks. Yeah, and so yeah, Summoning the Lich and Demon King are going to be on this little 4 day run, and so I think if I remember right, it's Richmond, Indiana. Then we hit the Detroit show, which I think is the one you were talking about, and
Uh-huh.
then we are in Chicago, and then we are in Louisville at Magbar. Magbar being another awesome place because they do Metal Mondays, which is always free. No matter who they bring in, it's always free.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. And then we have some other tours that have yet to be announced yet, and I probably ought not to do it right now.
Well, I mean, I know this was all the buzz a few weeks ago, but I might as well bring it up to you. Was there ever a time when you thought that they might leave you at a gas station?
Yeah. We left Chris Smiley at a gas station um, for different reasons. It was just because we forgot that he was inside the gas station.
Oh
But
God.
that was him. That was on him. He was taking way too long to pick out his snacks, and
Yeah.
we left him. And then we got about 15 miles down the road, and we were like, and like I was driving, and I asked him a question, and he didn't respond.
Oh no.
And we looked over where he normally sits, and there laid his cell phone.
Oh
Uh,
God.
so we turned around and got him. He was a little salty, but
Yeah, yeah.
this is
Yeah, when it first
Chris.
happened, Stace showed me the Instagram, and I was like, my first reaction was, "This has been going on for decades. I mean, this is nothing
Yeah,
new. I mean,
no,
a
no,
lot of
yeah.
it's just not documented. So.
Well, I don't know those guys, and I will tell you that I can't say anything bad about anybody in anybody's band when I don't know them. But you're absolutely right. Like things like that happen. It's shit. Bands are like families, and shit happens.
Yeah, yeah,
I wish all those guys the best, and it's obviously a sick band. I know Ryan specifically, the guitar player in Carrion, is like a huge fan of them. So
yeah,
hopefully,
yeah. We
I don't.
we saw
It
him. We
doesn't
saw him
look
two,
good.
3 years ago. We saw him 2, 3 years ago before the first breakup, and
And
Vitriol was. They were sick. I mean, they were really, really something. So it was a shame the first time, but yeah, the second time, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So,
Yeah. I mean, a single there's not a single person that could say anything about the talent that those guys have. I'll put
yeah,
it that
yeah,
way.
yeah. That's one thing I like. That's why I really like that we have this. That one of our shows is extreme metal is because I feel like sometimes there's 100 people in the underground, and everybody's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. You don't get a lot of the drama. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I consider myself lucky. I get to, when I get to go out with, the bands that we go out with. Like, I'll be honest with you. Never once as I have one time there was one. I'm not going to mention names, but one person that I would be happy that I didn't have to ever go out with. But that's it. Everybody else has been awesome.
Well, yeah, but that's life, though. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with
Oh
music.
yeah,
It's just, yeah, that's the odds
and
of just being around people. Yeah.
if I said the name, which I'm not going to, everybody that's listening would agree with me. So
Kind of a
put it that
funny
way.
adjacent story, right? So, Stace and I went and saw about a month ago. We went and saw, what's the Dead Congregation?
Yeah.
And it was, of course, it was sick. But we were so into seeing them that we were about 2 feet from the stage, and Stace was streaming. I think you were doing the live stream.
Instagram.
And I just got this weird feeling. I was like, wow, I've never been up this close for a long time. All of a sudden, I had an elbow to the face. She was
Yeah.
on the ground, like, as soon as everything kicked in, we like completely like forgot that we were in the middle of a mosh pit. So,
Oh man,
yeah.
those mosh pits can get a little hairy.
Yeah. Well, we were so into
It's
it.
bleeding. Shit.
It was like, wait a minute, this is not Steely Dan. What are we doing here?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm a seasoned man, so there's no more mosh pits for old Trav.
Yeah.
I break a hip. Um,
Yeah.
but our buddy at one of our shows came and was having such a good time. And then I looked down, and he just had a broken leg, and I was
Yeah.
like, bummer, dude.
Yeah, that's what happens. I know. Yeah.
So do
But-
you guys have a set list planned for your run yet? And any surprises or covers or things you have planned?
No covers. We'll be doing the 3 singles that we're going to be releasing for this album. So we'll be doing 1978, we'll be doing 1912, and then we'll be doing Truth or Consequences, which is, in my opinion, my favorite song on the whole new album. But what do I know? But so we'll be doing all that, and then we'll be doing just a couple songs from the last 3 albums: Wings of Deliverance, King of the Rhine. We'll be doing the Devil in Me. We'll be doing Lord have mercy. We'll be doing Discount Meats, and I think if people start screaming one more song, we have another song. But I hope you guys don't. I'm tired, so but do it. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Well, thank you so much for this album. It is really, really
A ripper.
solid from
Yeah.
top to bottom. So hopefully we'll catch you out in Baltimore one of these days. Maybe
I have
MDF one
I have
year.
no doubt. Yeah. I have no doubt. We'll be there. We just got to get there. We've got to find some bands to hit the road with. More bands to hit the road with. So, yeah, be lovely to see you folks out there.
And when I check your Metal Archives page in 2 years, your side project Wormgasm will have 3 albums under its belt. So
Yeah, the Wormgasm. It'll be that's. I mean, I won't even have to change my my motif of putting wieners on album covers.
Yeah, exactly. It fits perfectly. Yeah. So
The sounds of decay!
okay, Sons of Decay 1.
This is Trauma Bond. Summer ends, summer long gone.
And again, these are all 3 titles that we slept on. So a lot of these aren't brand new, but we didn't want to leave them out. So
These are kind of make goods on stuff that came out this year.
stuff that flew past our radar. So
Ironically enough, as I write this, I'm drinking from the chipped coffee cup of my long gone, thankfully, ex-boyfriend, the lone relic from my own ill-advised foray into the sticky spiderweb of an actual trauma bond. A trauma bond is a powerful, unhealthy attachment to an abuser. I mean, how much would you pay? It's formed through cycles of abuse and intermittent swipes of affection, an intense, hard-to-break connection, like an unpredictable shower head that keeps abruptly getting scalding hot or freezing cold. Oh, that's nice. Ow, ow, ow. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Nope, you're hurting me. Repeat endlessly. Likewise, the UK band of the same moniker blends a shared love of violence, metal, and noise with a healthy dose of rage and a flair for the unsettling to create something dark and equally magnetic. This is their third full length. We've already endured the violence of spring, then winter's light, and now they hit us with summer ends, summer long gone. Gone the way of the boys of summer, perhaps, but with far more explosive exits. These 9 tracks run in the gamut. Some barely crest 2 minutes, others stretch into the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot, and the closer sprawls past 9 minutes. Predict the unpredictable, they seem to shrug and like it.
Vocals and lyrics here are handled by Eloise Chong-Gargetts, while all music and instrumentation comes from the other half of the dynamic duo, Tom Mitchell. And if that somehow wasn't enough firepower, additional guitar duties are supplied by none other than Kurt Ballou. Yes, that Kurt Ballou, producer, sonic architect, and Converge guitarist. Love him, fear him, argue about him on the internet at 3 a.m. Regardless, his presence adds another serrated edge in this arsenal of zwilling knives. Brushed by the Storm opens with a clunk that sounds like someone striking a wrench on a steadily escalating industrial rhythm against a metal pipe, while a buzzing drone of ethereal ooze begins to swirl. A spell is whispered urgently, layered, as if a maiden, mother, and crone are all speaking at once. Breaking of waves, crushing of bones, hands out of the infinite blue. I have no idea what's being invoked here, but my hands are already up. A low groan follows, something between a growl and an ancient blast furnace turning over in a simmer. A beat slowly congeals. Guitars crawl in with a disturbing, resonant rumble, heavy with bad thoughts and an even worse mood. The incantation is reinvoked over the rising confusion, the kick drum shadowing each syllable. Then comes a violent fluid scratch like the needle skating at the end of a vinyl side, painfully loud in the headphones. Everything cuts dead, the needle yanked away, leaving only dissonant synth notes swaying drunkenly like wind chimes, and a human voice barking or perhaps coughing up a hairball. Let's hear a little Brushed by the Storm.
While Good Grief attacks on command, blast beats flowing as if an immovable force, and by sheer persistence, moves it anyway. Riffs bunch up in death metal fits, caked in distortion, while vocals tumble out, just as manic as the kick drum, picking up on the track's intentional muddiness and capping it with raw, gnawing rage. Grit in my teeth, baby, I'm bleeding. Come back, oh God, come back. Good Grief. Mid-track, the snares briefly overthrow the blast, cracked and slapped nerve-jangling strikes as the vocals continue to spiral. Then those demented riffs and racing blast beats take the wheel again. I like that. Blast beats take the wheel and floor it. By the end, everything collapses into a fuzzy, buzzy, mechanical churn, leaving behind a perfectly creepy outro. This is death metal, Charlie Brown. One of my favorites is the uber abstract but never too much, Wolfing the Lamb to Mutton. It swooshes to life like a video game booting up, uprising synths immediately beaten into submission by a pummel of kick drum strikes and marching army foot stomps. Chaos reigns. Brief rants are screamed, vocals detonate in rapid fire over percussive claps, cymbals flung around as if in a car crash. Heavy vocoder-like vocals sync up with the beats, punctuated by short, low-flung, lunatic howls. Pure asylum energy. Soft obscenities punch the clock. Sweet fug traffic fumes. Elbows off the table. I'm not your father. Keep banging the same drum. The drums become an insistent tap while the guitars rumble up like heat lightning, amping up the sludge dragged beneath it all. Mid-track, the distorted riffs ratchet up another notch as Eloise fully rants and raves. The drums briefly slow as a discontented synth whirls in, before everything re-enters attack mode, finishing a machine gun rapid intensity.
The closing track is epic. The crown jewel, aptly named Dissonance, is a lot of, well, as you would expect, cacophony. Slow buzzing and death knell toning synthesizer are full of gravel and limp Kick drum strikes fall hesitantly, finally gaining frequency. Guitar riffs are like the buzz and whine of a circular saw, as the vocals are grimy and bent down to ghoulish levels. Percussion continues its slow detonation, as vocals press out now over distorted syllables in both yells and groans. Mid-track, the whirring guitar tone takes over, swinging, gnawing the listener's body, pulling limb from sinew, and it doesn't even hurt. It's freeing. Layers of yells, shivers of guitar, and pulsing drums build and rise like bread, only to be punched down and rise again. All stops but the whirring and light clicking of a watch, marching on with no heed of our complaints to slow down. The sun just continues to set, the track fades in a type of white noise. Not sure if we are blindfolded in a jet or an industrial dryer. Either way, we're strapped to this ride to our destination unknown.
Trauma Bond dropped this last January, but looking back over the year, why did we miss this? This is one we absolutely couldn't leave out. As they say on Bandcamp, they concoct a visceral exploration of aggression. It's like they took a sack of squirmy worms, metallic hardcore, industrial clanks, and sludge-soaked ickiness, sewed it shut, and released this oogie-boogie creation, now alive and breathing in the world. By the time Summer Ends, Summer Long Gone finally releases its grip, you're left wired, emptied out, and oddly clear-headed, aware of every scar but no longer flinching. Like that chipped coffee cup you should have thrown out years ago, or the shower that never quite settles on a safe temperature, this album thrives on the push and pull. Comfort, pain, relief, damage. Tighten, loosen, rinse, and repeat. Tick, tick. We may be the last rose of summer now, but the decay of fall looms, and I know when the final installment of this quadrilogy drops, the veil will be thin and the spirits thick. It's like Trent Reznor with teeth, with a healthy dose of death metal thrown in. Let's play a song. This is Wolfing the Lamb to Mutton.
Okay, Sounds of Decay 2 is the new album from This Gift is a Curse, Heir. Again, it's not new. It's been out for a while because this is a wrap-up. But anyway, this is another one that we somehow missed, and there's really no excuse for it. Caustic black metal laced with sludge, and it came out on Seasons of Mist back in March. That's like driving past 3 H&R Blocks, 2 Jackson Hewitts, and a dude dressed like Uncle Sam in the rain and still forgetting to file your taxes on time. At any rate, this Stockholm-based five-piece continues to bring the impressive visuals, the pulverizing percussion, and the signature creepy lyrics for this, their fourth full-length since forming way back in 2008, and it comes after a 6-year hiatus from 2019's remarkable A Throne of Ash record. The album delivers over an hour of music in the form of 10 lengthy songs recorded under the scrutiny of Swedish engineering Svengali William Blackman, who has worked with a wide range of extreme artists from Kailasa to Infanticide and beyond.
The style of the album seems more aligned with post-metal than any of their previous efforts. Lots more chiming, some loud quiet moments, and spacey arpeggios have found their way into the band's signature sound, and it may take some getting used to, like maybe 7 months or so if you're like us, to come around to appreciate, particularly for fans of the band's earlier squall-driven, claustrophobic, and noise-friendly sounds of their prior records. Of course, as I type this, I realized that the first moment of the very first track, Kingdom, starts with a massive feedback squeal before newcomer Christian Augustin erupts in a furious, blast-heavy pace to set the tone for the album to come. Riffs shift and twist, percussion rolls and blast. Vocalist Patrick Anderson shrieks and cackles masterfully. Around the halfway point, the track gives way to post-rock friendly guitar chimes as Anderson recites something the lyrics list as Invocation 317 444. Not to worry, before we know it, the drums are bashing us lickety-split and everything is pushed to the red under torturous bellows of Anderson. This push-pull between scalding intensity and twinkling melodicism may come through strongest in this opening track. Let's hear a little. Let's play a clip. This is Kingdom.
9+ minute epic Voidbringer is a definite album standout, lyrically recalling a horrifying encounter with an entity in the night offering eternal life with catchphrases like, just surrender yourself, and I will make you shine like Nova. False promises, treachery, manipulation, all of the above, only the Dark Lord somehow knows for sure. Musically, this one follows the pattern of hard-hammering speed passages that plunge headlong into pinging post-rock introspection and back again. Guitarist David Deverian meshes well with melodicism of Anderson's own guitar style, albeit wicked tremolo picking or hook-heavy chimes.
The album closes out with a 9+ minute beast, Ascension, which takes off on a steady shifting riff bolstered by Augustine's ferocious, urgent blasting. This one is interesting because the blasting tremolo sawing and space signal arpeggios all occupy the same space, and when Augustine switches to a mid-tempo pace, the effect is more reminiscent of something like classic Converge than black metal. Of course, the track cycles through multiple exercises in abrasive, speedy, speedier, speediest, and occasionally stopping on a dime for some introspective chimes and wails.
As much as I enjoyed the album, I haven't decided if their older, sludgier style or this brave new direction of pings and punishment serves me better. At any rate, for fans of bands like Celeste, Cult of Luna, or Classic Neurosis, don't tally up your top 10 before giving this one a chance. And don't forget to list your cousin Marge as a dependent, since she stayed over a month in your house in April and never washed a single dish the whole friggin' time. Don't get me started. Anyway, let's play Ascension.
This is Sounds of Decay 3, Coltsblood, obscured into Nebulous Dusk. There's just something about the UK that is so damn conducive to doom metal. The rainy climate, the dreariness, the dark humor, the history, and of course, the bands. Sabbath, Cathedral, My Dying Bride, Solstice, Rameses, Electric Wizard. The list goes on and on. Considering this and the fact that sludgy metal is just about all I listen to nowadays, it seems inevitable that my path would cross with this three-piece from Liverpool. I liked them at once. They use words like unfathomable and nebulous and abertack. Plus, ex-Conan vocalist John McNulty, what a perfectly British name, delivers unhurried croaks and wounded gurgles like the best of them.
This isn't one for the faint of heart. Originally, it came out in May, and somehow blew past our radar like all the other featured discs this week. 4 songs, each about 10 minutes in length. Drummer Jay Plested's deft cymbal acumen proves a key weapon in Coltsblood's slowest tempo style, and guitarist Gemma McNulty knows how to deliver a riff. Even if the chord change doesn't happen for a good minute and a half, it's worth holding on to hear when it does. Waning of the Wolf Moon offers a lot more than a badass title. It charges wounded and bitter, Plested laying all manner of percussive flash underneath the riff, moving at the speed of bamboo growth until a massive unexpected blast beat erupts a couple minutes in, just long enough to add a little spice to the proceedings. The track is packed with hypnotic charms, from McNulty's scowling delivery from the pulpit to Plested's blasting, trudging, and well, just letting the feedback ring out unchallenged. Let's hear a little. This is Waning of the Wolf Moon.
The magnificently titled Transcending the Immortal Gateways. Pretty sure this song is about pre-ordering from your favorite bagel place, then just popping in to skip the line, grab it off the shelf with a nod like, have fun, losers, but I could be wrong. Is another 10+ minute dreadnought, much more in the vein of straight Sabbath, albeit with cold, menacing arpeggios cycling endlessly from Gemma, cross-cutting against John's granite-like bass burbles and subsonic snarls. This one is interesting because after the band lulls you into a stupor for about 7 minutes, the whole thing takes off in this otherworldly jam, led by Placid's flashy patterns and Gemma hanging feedback squalls like black linen on a clothesline.
As you may have surmised by now, this is not music for your next pom-pom waving pep rally. This is murky, dark, bitter doom metal from the land where they do it better than anyone. Get over to Bandcamp and crank this beast loud enough to see the arms vibrate on your hand. Blah, blah, blah. Get over to Bandcamp and crank this beast loud enough to see your arm hairs vibrate. And yes, ladies, I'm talking to you. Looks like every scrap of vinyl is sold out, but they do have some pretty badass long sleeves still for sale, so get on it. Think about it this way. If you had to pick between hog's pudding and jellied eels for your dessert of choice, week in and week out, you'd have a pretty doomy outlook yourself. Food for thought, literally. How many doom metal bands are coming out of Hawaii these days? I don't think very many. Come at me in the DMs. In the meantime, let's hear Transcending the Immortal Gateways. Ah, another one in the books. You didn't return that grill, did you? Because my leg was in there.
The one that the guy did the documentary on the people who were sawing off their own limbs for
Right.
profit. When he was doing the documentary in Nubsville, the people were so mad he had exposed their little insurance fraud.
Mm.
Someone tried to run over the cinematographer with a truck.
Wow.
Yeah, they were mad.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you get for just an index finger.
Stubville. Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I can't pay the rent. I mean, I can't pay the mortgage. Just saw off your ankle. We'll be fine.
We're going to be rich, hon. We're going to be wealthy. This has been the Snaggletoon Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Travis from Carrion Vael for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Jord of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Sounds of Decay bands, The Ones We Missed. Featured this week, Coltsblood, Trauma Bond, and This Gift is a Curse. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
This tastefully well done scene. I've got the rabbit squiggles coming.
Oh my.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.